Okay, what a race we just witnessed, the 57th annual Daytona 500, and joining us up at the podium right now. Joining us up here now is our race runner-up, and that's Kevin Harvick, our defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. He drives the number 4 Budweiser Jimmy John's Chevrolet. And then our defending race winner, driving the number 88 Nationwide Chevrolet, is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's hear from Kevin first. Kevin, just talk about how you thought the race unfolded. Certainly, you know, it was just one heck of a Daytona 500. Just talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, for us, it was a good, solid day to start the season. Obviously, you want to try to win the race, but sometimes you're just happy to keep rolling and going out of here and head to Atlanta with a solid day. So really proud about my team and how they handled the week and adjusted on the car and did everything that they needed to do and came out of here with a solid day. So I thought we were going to at least have a chance and back up to the 88 there and try to get to the 22 coming off of turn 4. But in the end, that didn't all pan out with the caution. So still a good weekend for us.
Thank you, Kevin. As I said, our third-place finisher, our defending race winner. Certainly, he had a car that was competing again for the win today, and that's Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Nationwide Chevrolet. Dale, just talk about your run out there today. You certainly had a very, very strong race car.
Yeah, we did. I made a mistake there, but on that restart with 20 to go and just didn't do what I needed to do and got shuffled through the middle there. Had a fast car, was able to get some spots back and get a good finish, so pretty happy about that. But you don't get cars that good too often, so like try to capitalize. And a little disappointed. Congratulations to Joey. He's certainly done a good job the last several years, and great to. I'm sure it's a great feeling for him. But and thinking about Kyle over there in the hospital, hoping he was doing okay, enjoying the race.
Thank you, Dale. And Denny Hamlin with a strong showing out here today as well. He came in 4th. He drives the number 11 FedEx Express Toyota. Denny, congratulations on a strong, strong race out there today. Just talk about how you thought things went for you.
It went well, and really, you know, all you can ask for is a chance. And really, when you start on the front row on a green-white checkered, you got a 50-50 shot. It's just a matter of whether your line forms up better than the other line, and ours just didn't form up well, and allowed the 22 to get clear, and really everyone on the top lane to get clear of us, and that was pretty much it. So, you know, it was a good day though. We obviously came from the back and ran up front all day. So proud of our whole FedEx team and Dave for doing a great job. Working together for the first time, and excited about the whole year, and obviously thinking about Kyle as well, like Dale said.
Thank you, Denny. We'll take questions now for Kevin, Denny, or Dale. Raise your hand. Please try to limit yourself to one question. Jim Peltz, I saw you first. We'll go then to Jim Peltz, Bob Pockris, Jim Utter.
Jim Peltz, the LA Times. Kevin, before the caution came out with 3 to go, I mean, did you feel like you had Joey set up to make the pass, or what?
With coming to the white, you never know what's going to happen. Obviously everything's shuffled out to where these two guys were nose to tail behind me, and maybe I should have backed up a little bit harder, but I didn't want to back up so much that they just drove right by me. I wanted to try to time it so that I could have them to my bumper by the time I got to the middle of 3 and 4 and have a good run down the hill coming off of 4 and have a shot. So, that didn't pan out. Didn't even have a chance to try to time it out. But still, just really proud of my team and the way that they act and react to things is just just really good. So feel really good about where we are.
Go to Bob Pockris, then we'll go to Jim Utter, Pete Pistone, and then we'll go to the press box.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Dale, if the caution didn't come out, did you think you had? Did you have a move for him, and could you have?
I was going to push him to the victory.
I was in 8th, I think. Shit, I didn't have nothing going on.
The last caution.
Oh yeah, well I was in 8th, and I was just kind of the outside line got going really good, and it was going good enough that you didn't want to really disrupt that by going to the outside of the guy in front of you. We needed to kind of get clear of that bottom lane before we got to racing. And, once we got clear, we sort of strung out. It was just not enough laps to form anything. I think even if Kevin backed up, I don't know whether I'd have stayed with him or whether Denny would have stayed with me. You just never know what decision you're going to make that moment.
Absolutely, I would have, no doubt.
All right. Well, you just never know what you're going to do, and you got to try to win the race, and we didn't get time to make a run. I wasn't in a good position to think about winning, but we were going to do what we could.
Let's go to Jim Utter, Pete Pistone, and then we'll go to the press box. Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Utter for Charlotte Observer for Denny or anybody else who would like to answer. Before the caution that sent us to the green-white checkered, you guys were running 3 wide, about 5 to 8 rows deep for 10 to 15 laps, and I think everybody in here and probably on television were wondering, can you do this all the way to the finish? Just could you talk a little bit about what it was there the last 20 laps running like that?
It's intense, especially when you're in the middle. You've got guys side drafting off both sides of you, and you're trying to pull them back. So I think the drivers have just gotten so smart over the last really a year and a half. I mean, as far as working their mirror, working the side draft, that guys don't break away anymore. They don't let them get free because they just side draft so much. So that's there was a good chance we could have ended the race on a 3x3, 8 rows deep, but I think Joey got clear of that anyway. So it was all gonna. Joey had the upper hand if the caution didn't come out, because everybody else was just side drafting each other, and nobody was really. It'd been tough to make a run on him.
Pete?
Pete Pistone, MRN.com, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Kevin, when I talked to you earlier this week, we talked about this weather and how this was going to change today. Did it make as big of a difference as everyone thought it was going to? And if you guys want to chime in as well, that'd be great.
Oh, it was a huge difference, and for us, we were banking on it. I think we lowered the track bar 4 inches and put a couple percent of nose weight in it to start the race, and made some pretty big adjustments. Just trying to go off of your past experience and what you felt in practice to try to anticipate where the handling went. We went a little bit too far and wound up a little bit too tight, but my car was very manageable, so I could be pushed. My car was tight enough, Denny, to be pushed.
That's good, man. That's why I push you guys.
That's right. Yeah, so we were all pushing and shoving. It was fun racing there at the end. I was in the top lane with the 15, and we would just scrape off the wall a little bit, and that's when you knew that you were high enough to push the guy in front of you. And but it's fun.
Let's go to the press box for a couple questions. Go ahead, press box.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times for Denny. When Joey washed out at Gibbs, a lot of people thought maybe he would never be the driver that some thought he would be, and now we see he's emerged there. Why do you think he's changed so much? And now how differently do you view him than you did when he was a teammate?
He's a different driver, really, and I think some situations just suit you better. You look at, when he left the 20 car instantly ran better. When he left, he instantly ran better. So I just think the situation didn't work for him, and I think he matured and figured out, he did his homework, and he's really, become one of the elite drivers in our sport. And every single weekend, you always have to know you're going to have to beat the 22, and that's something that we didn't say about Joey, just 3 years ago. So I think he's with a great situation, and their cars are really good, and he's just made the best of it.
Go ahead, press box.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. For Dale, about that move again with 19 to go, did you think that a teammate would go with you, or were you trying to tuck him behind Jimmy? Did you think you were going to get help?
Yeah, Jimmy was on the quarter panel. He was in a great spot on the guy in front of me, and I thought he was, if I could get in behind him, he was going to shoot past into the lead. Maybe I could tuck on that quarter panel a little bit, but somebody got on my right rear quarter panel. I didn't think that they were that close in the outside line. I thought we'd got a couple car links on the outside line, but they were right there. Just one of them moves. You make a lot of good ones, you make some bad ones, and I made a bad one too late.
Let's come back downstairs for questions. Questions down here. Let's go to Lewis. And we'll
Over
get
here.
a couple over there. Go ahead.
Louis Frank of Reuters. Compared to the week before, this was a relatively clean race. Does anyone have an opinion, or did the owners threaten you with the broken cars?
Well, we got two races to get it out of the way. We sat around all winter, and maybe we were just a little off. I don't know. So,
I think running the race during the day and with the low downforce package, all the drivers seemed more comfortable. We had some balance issues out there to work with, and I think that keeps you on your toes and helps you understand where your car can work and where it can't. And just a good package as far as the downforce, and the track starting to age a little bit, starting to lose a little bit of grip. But just running the race during the day really helps a lot.
I agree. I think it really the slick conditions make us we have to give each other a little bit more room, because you can't just pin the guy down off the corner, because he's going to lose his front end or back end. So it makes us give each other a little bit more room, and when there's enormous amount of grip, we all just feel like we can run inches off of each other and not going to wreck. So I agree. I love the day race. It really puts it more back in the driver's hands, and definitely this package does as well.
Let's go over here to the far right, guys, to Marty Smith.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Denny, this is for you to start, but if you two want to weigh in, it'd be awesome too. Denny, you had the Jeff Gordon fan club laminate. What would little Denny have said knowing he raced in the Jeff Gordon's final Daytona 500 with Jeff Gordon?
I wish you would have pushed me to victory. Yeah, he tried pushing me a bunch, but for whatever reason, we hit the brakes every time he got to my rear bumper. But it was awesome. He showed a lot of strength throughout the day, as well as the 88, and they just stayed up front all day, and you just knew that those were the guys you're going to have to beat. But unfortunately, when everyone knows you have a fast car, sometimes you get hung out, and I think that's what happened with him. And but yeah, he's going to be missed. He's one of those few guys on a super speedway like the Daytona 500 with a few laps to go. You can give him no room for error, and he's typically not going to make a mistake. So he's going to be missed.
Jay Pennell had one, and then Tom Jensen.
Jay Pennell with Fox Sports. This is for Denny. The situation with Matt today, Crafton coming in. Did you guys sit down and talk with him before the race, and just walk me through that?
Joe grabbed us all by the collar right before we went out and told us, we got to work together and do whatever we can to get a win. But this is it's a tough situation to try to throw Matt into, and obviously his first start in the Daytona 500. I'm sure those trucks never had handling issues like these cars probably had today. So I'm not sure where he ended up, but I did see him at one point, and he was holding a pretty wheel. So
Finished 19th.
No, it's good.
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Over here to the left, guys. This is for anybody who wants to answer it. You all seem pretty relaxed, and you guys all drive for top teams. You're all fiercely competitive guys. Does the chase format, that knowing you're going to race, probably going to race for a championship at the end of the year, make not winning today easier to swallow?
I know for me, I'm ready to go to Atlanta. It seems like we've been here for a month. I'm glad today's over. I'm relieved for my team that we had a good solid finish, a good start to the season, and I'm excited about everything that we do on our mile and a half stuff. So I'm looking forward to going to Atlanta, and that's really what it's all about, is trying to win a race to get yourself positioned in the chase and be able to try to win more races if you can do that early enough.
Yeah, it's just about trying to win races. It's kind of disappointing we didn't win today, because that helps make the rest of the season a whole lot different. You can call races completely different once you get that win under your belt and get a lot more aggressive on pit road and with fuel mileage and stuff like that to try to even win more. So that worked great for us last year, getting that win early.
Well, you assume that you're going to be part of a battling for a championship, but we got reminded yesterday, and I got reminded 2 years ago at California, nothing's a given. So you have to live in the moment and appreciate the moment, and you got to continue to work hard and try to put yourself in that position. But what happens in Daytona is not a direct result of how you're going to run during the season. So I'm with Kevin. Let's get to Atlanta and kind of see who's got what.
Take one more question here. We'll go right here to this young lady right here, and then we'll finish up with Dwight.
Donna Beth Weilenman, Benicia Herald. This is for Kevin Harvick. As reigning champion, do you ever hear it from anybody back home in Bakersfield?
I've already been. Yeah, that was the first place I took the Sprint Cup trophy back to my high school, and we had a pep rally. So it was pretty cool to be able to take that trophy and set it in front of those 950 kids that were in the auditorium that day, and show them that if you really put your mind to it and follow your dream, it can all work out. So we're also going back there the week between Phoenix and California too.
Final question.
Dwight Drummer, State.com. For Dale, you had the momentum. Well, you didn't taking a win coming out of Daytona again, but you had the momentum of a third place going in. Talk a little bit about what's that like for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you don't imagine the 16 guys are going to win races, and you want to try to put points together just in case you need to lean on that and fall back on that to make the chase. But there's no guarantees. You just like to take good cars like we had today and win with them when you get the chance to drive cars like that. So, but I got a great team, and I feel like that Greg's going to be awesome, and hopefully we're going to have more opportunities this year.
Well, Kevin, Dale, and Denny, congratulations on a great performance here today, and thanks for putting on such a fine race for us. See you in Atlanta.
In a couple days.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks. See you. Thank you. See you. Have a good day. He'll be right here.
He just went to head. He'll be right back. So you see, yeah, 2 seconds, yeah. Here. Tell them what it's like.
Has anyone heard who won the Daytona 500?
We're waiting to find out.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our winning team here. And that is the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. For Team Penske, driver Joey Logano, team owner Roger Penske, and crew chief Todd Gordon. And congratulations to everyone over at Team Penske, Walt and Jonathan and everybody at your organization, your second Daytona 500 victory. And just a terrific day for your organization, a terrific race for us here today. Joey, how's it feel to win the Daytona 500?
About as cool as I thought it would feel. It's, I think as a kid, any young racer dreams of winning the Daytona 500. It's the biggest race we have all year, and you're down here for 2 weeks, and there's so much buildup coming into this race, and with the qualifying and the duels, and you get out there. This is first time you race in a couple months, so there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of nerves before the race, and to be able to pull that car into victory lane and see my team there and see my family and my friends, like everyone was here, so it couldn't be any better. And it's an amazing feeling. I can't really put it into words. It's something that just you can't describe. I keep reliving over and over again what it was like down the back straightaway, and I came off of turn 2 there, and I was looking in the mirror and I saw him crash, and I'm like, okay, keep my foot in here, and you hope there's a caution, but I think even that they weren't close enough to really be able to make a run. And you have a split second after the caution came out, and you think about it, and you're like, did we win? And then it's just straight chaos after that. It's just an amazing feeling. I'm so fortunate to get the race for Roger and Shell Pennzoil, and Todd Gordon over here. He's a freaking man. So I'm just the lucky guy that drives this thing.
Well, congratulations, Joey. You're going to be a great Daytona 500 champion.
Thank you.
Todd
That sounds
Gordon.
really good.
Todd Gordon, congratulations to you as well. Maybe just talk about a couple things that you thought were key in getting this win here this afternoon.
Wow, keeping we looked at it. I thought as you look at the week that we had coming into this, it was really cold. The unlimited was pretty cold. The duels were pretty cold. So a lot of track grip and the pack stayed tight and together. And we really talked a lot about how we wanted a race car to be come race time. And I think we made the right calls to have enough stability in the car and we could maintain our position up front. And Joey did a phenomenal job of finding the right lines. And I think Tab Boyd did a great job helping him from the spotter stand to get ourselves out front. I'd say the biggest thing that helped us today, beyond just having speed and being up there, but we worked really well with the 15 car. I think those guys did an awesome job helping us today.
Thank you, Todd. And Roger, certainly you've had many, many wins in motorsports and many, many championships, and your accomplishments are outstanding. But this has to be a very, very sweet win for Team Penske and for you personally.
Well, to win this race at all is something special. And, obviously the Indy 500 has meant a lot to me. But as we've competed, in NASCAR for so many years and have come up short here, and today to see the competition, and what I saw today was a driver who came with us, threw his lot with us here a couple of years ago, and Todd jumped on board, and to see him manage the race. He never was further back, I think, than 10th. He managed the race, and when you've got Earnhardt and Johnson and Gordon and all the guys behind him, and was able to play fair, but yet, knew what he had to do, was amazing. And for me, it's a credit to what Todd's done. The team, we talked about this, during the NASCAR week. We talked about continuity, and I think today you saw it, same pit crew. We had the same guys on that car, and Joey, obviously, and he and Todd have now built a bond together, which is important. They trust each other. And you could see it, the calls on the racetrack, stay out, 2 tires, 4 tires, and that's what you got to have. It was a perfect day, but I think for the fans, the racing was as good as I've ever seen it. Other than that mess at the end, it was really clean racing, and there was a chance for us to be at the front. And believe me, with 300 cars behind you, your odds aren't very good. And we were able to steal one from him today. So Rick's a great friend of mine, and obviously the 4-car, he and Joey have had a couple of words, but I think they worked well together there at the end. He backed down a little bit and let us come home.
He did. And Joey, one thing I also wanted to point out, you are now going to be in the 2015 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. So congratulations for that.
We're going to have fun for 25 weeks.
Sure. Build up those bonus points. Let's take questions. We'll start with Jenna, and then we'll go to George Diaz. Jenna, and then George Diaz.
Jennifer AP, it's a similar question for both Roger and Joey. Roger, when Joey became available, I guess at the end of 12, why did you like him? What did you see that you thought you could get out of him?
Well, I knew that he had raced for a great team, and he was very successful on the Nationwide at that point, or Busch Series, whatever. I forget the name. It goes and changes every year. But anyhow, he knew how to win races. And I think, he had with Kyle and Denny Hamlin there, he was the young guy in the crowd. And I felt that, and Brad was a big part of this, putting his arm around Joey and say, come on to our team and help us build this. And I knew that he was going to be a team player. And that's really what's paid off, because there's great transparency between the two drivers. And to me, it's paid off in spades for us. When he joined the team, he won races. You saw what he did last year, and this is just the start of, I think, of a career he's going to be a guy at the top for a long time.
And for Joey, it was just 3 years ago. I guess you were losing your job, and then you land with Penske. I guess, what was that like for you, and why did this change to Penske just make you sort of skyrocket into this, incredibly winning driver?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. sometimes God just throws you situations and you don't know why, but you just got to roll with the punches, and it turns out to be the best. And yeah, I think it's no secret that I got probably thrown into the series too young, inexperienced, didn't know what I had to do, and be able to start working your way up. And then obviously the switch over to Team Penske, the best move of my career, to be here and get teamed up with a great team, and it was an opportunity for me to regroup, be who I wanted to be as an adult and not as a 18-year-old kid anymore, and go out there and work hard. And something that says in Team Penske in the gym, it says effort equals results, and it's so simple, such a simple phrase, but it means so much. And everyone in our team works so hard. And I said it earlier in Victory Lane, this is super speedway racing was not our specialty at all last year. And for me as a driver, I've never really been that good at this big pack draft. And over the off season, Todd and I sat down a lot, and Tab, my spotter, we sat down and watched a lot of tapes. We went up and watched a second duel on top of the spotter stand. We watched a nationwide race up there. We did everything we possibly can do to say we prepared ourselves the best we can for this race. And so cool to see that phrase come to life. Effort equals results, and we got a really cool ring because of it. So it's pretty neat.
We'll go to George Diaz and then to Jim Utter. George Diaz, Jim Utter.
Yeah, Joey, way back here, George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. You seem to have a nice sized lead there toward the end, and then Allgaier has his problems with 3 to go. And what are you thinking as you look in the rearview mirror and knowing it's going to be green, white, checkered?
Oh, crap. That was the first thing that was in my mind. It's just, really the caution comes out. You even meant obviously, you think about strategy. We're staying out. We want to save some fuel just in case of multiple green flag or green white checkers, and then they give you a red flag to really just sit on that and make you really nervous. And once you get over the fact that you're about to throw up, you have to you can start figuring out how to win the race. And I knew Clint Boyer behind me was the best pusher I had all day. He was very aggressive, pushed me hard, and my car was able to handle it at any point throughout the corners and straightaways. And there's a few times we got crossed up, but it worked, and it got us up there. So I knew I wanted Clint behind me, and we just was able to execute the plan basically after that, and just stare in the mirror and try to bring her home.
Let's go to Jim Utter. We'll go over here to Angela, and then we'll go to Nate Ryan.
Jim Utter, Charles Observer for Todd and Joey. You saw Brad have the engine oil pan or oil, whatever it was, issue. Then you had the 21, and I believe you all had a conversation over the radio about it. And I think Todd, you said something about say your prayers or.
No, I said
that.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah, I said nothing we can do about it. Just keep digging. And he said we'll just say a prayer for it right now.
Well, after those 2 issues, how concerned were you that you might develop something similar?
You worry about the things that you can control in this sport, and at that point, we have no control over it. I think I think Doug Yates and his guys have done an awesome job of trying to bring as much power as they could to the racetrack, and we had discussions prior to the race about where we could push it, where we couldn't, and unfortunate with the 2 and the 21, but we had managed where we needed to be with our motor all day, and you can't worry about things you can't control, and at that point it's as Joey said, at that point it's in racing God's hands. So fortunately everything worked out for us.
Yeah, let's go over here to Angela, and then we'll go to Nate Ryan. Go ahead, Angela.
Thank you. Angela Davis, Jersey Girl Sports, right here. Joey. This question is for Joey. You are so young. You have so much ahead of you in terms of your future with NASCAR. And with this being Jeff Gordon's last season, if you could project forward and you think about your last season, your last race, what would you hope people would say about you? What would you want your legacy to be?
Oh, it's a tough question. I feel like I got over 20 years left in my career here, so it's hard to look that far down the path. But as a person is the way I want to be known as is more than just a race car driver. I want to be more known as a great person that is willing to help out and give back when I was supposed to, when you're supposed to be a good person, and someone that was fun to be around, enjoyed life, enjoyed the fact that you get to drive a race car for a job. That's like the coolest thing ever, and make sure I enjoy every second of it, and hopefully as a winner, this is so far this has been a great career for me, and you only hope you can do as much as Jeff Gordon. I mean, look at what he's done in his career, and he's been an amazing ambassador for our sport. He was my favorite driver when I first started racing. When I was 6 years old, I rooted for the 24 car because he was the young guy. And now racing against him, and he's not the young guy anymore, but he's still a lot of fun to race against. And being able to race against him today for the lead multiple times in the Daytona 500, it's a dream come true for any kid. And I'll always remember that for sure.
All right, let's go to Nate Ryan. Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. For Roger, Brad has given you a championship, your first in NASCAR. Joey has now given you your second Daytona 500 win. Those are two drivers who are young enough to be your grandchildren who are giving you your best success in NASCAR.
You gotta put up with that? Jeez.
Wow. Well, it's true. I mean, what does that mean to you personally to have that kind of youth, and how has it rejuvenated you? Because you've seemed like a different guy around the track the last few years.
Well, the way I answer that is that, as we tried to build this team, I think when we brought the IndyCar team down to Charlotte to be one team, I've talked about it before, Team Penske, and to be able to get talent, we knew that, having the opportunity to get Brad on board, he came to see us when he was still with JR Motorsports and said, look, at the end of the year, I'd like to talk to you and I'll help you build a team. And of course, he was key in contacting Joey to come on board. But you need youth today. You need youth in your business. You need youth, on the racetrack. And I think Todd knows that. The people that we hire are ones we want to stay with us, and we support them. And we're going to have ups and we're going to have downs. And he talked about effort equal results. So I think that's what you've seen. Personally, for me, I like seeing these people compete and elevate themselves within the company, and that's what I look for every day. I mean, I've won a lot of races, but I love to compete with Rick and with Childress and Gibbs and whether it's Stuart Haas, and because the camaraderie off the racetrack is amazing. But boy, when you get to the racetrack, you got to have your game on. And to me, seeing these young guys step up, and it's like a young golfer like McIlroy or a guy like that. To me, that's the great thing about sports. It brings the best out of people, and I think it brings the best out in our team, and that, to me, gives me my satisfaction.
Let's go to the press box for a few questions. Go ahead, press box.
Lee Spencer, motorsport.com. Joey, you really didn't answer it, but what was going through your mind when you found out about the 21 and the 2? Because, certainly you had a lot of power. You could pretty much move around on your own, but when your teammates go down that quickly, it has to give you some pause.
Well, Roush Yates Motors does a great job for us, and yes, it was two motors that were fairly quick that gave up, and I think I don't know what they were, but I heard it was the same thing. So obviously, it raises a little bit of a caution in your mind to say, what's going on, and there's still a lot of Fords out there that were running at the time, but. I just asked Todd, I said, is there anything I can do to help? And when he said there's nothing I can do, then I stopped worrying about it. I said, there's nothing I can do about it. And all I can do is focus on what we can control, like Todd said, and try to win the race from there. So I'd say one thing, it held together because I was trying to sling a rod out the side of that thing doing burnouts and laying it up on the chip, and she held together. So it's a lot stronger than you think. That thing's a pretty tough motor in that thing.
Go ahead, press box.
Bruce Martin with Race Day on Fox Sports Radio and National Speed Sport News. Congratulations, Joey. This question is for Roger. You've won 15 Indianapolis 500s, the all-time winningest team owner there. Now you're a two-time Daytona 500 winning team owner. How do you compare and contrast the two accomplishments?
Well, these are the two greatest races here in the United States, and just to say that we competed for as many years as we have, both in Indy and at Daytona, is something that I'll never forget. And today, the competition and racing for an OEM here, which is important, and the sponsors, and just this race has just gotten bigger and bigger, and to me, it's pretty special. Obviously, I'd love to win both these races in the same year. You set those kind of goals for yourself. But, today, the Indy 500 is in May, and the Daytona 500 is today. So, overall, I think these are two great accomplishments. But, I get many of the laurels, but when you really come down to the facts, it's all about the people that have joined the team for so many years that have brought us this success. It's the drivers, it's the young drivers we just talked about. It's the young mechanics, people that have come across the country to work on our team, thumbed their way across, that have worked their way up to be key people. Because everybody, when you look in auto racing and you look at the people, Knaus, and go on down the line, I'm sure, when we look at Todd, all these guys came from a different background, and they just didn't walk in at the top of this sport. You cannot as a driver, you can as a car owner, and you certainly you can't, as a engineer or chief mechanic. You've got to build it, and I think that's what we've been able to do from the nationwide, to the Cup side, and the truck one the other day Brad did, and those young guys are the future leaders and over the wall for us. So it's the people, and whether it's at Indy or here, I think it takes the same formula.
Go ahead. Let's stay at the press box. Go ahead.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times, for Joey. How much did that pit stop at Homestead stay with you over the off season? Something that just sort of stayed in your mind, and how much does this victory sort of erase what happened there and allow you to just sort of focus forward?
It really didn't stay in my mind that long. To be honest with you, you move on. It's the history. It's past, and you focus on the future. You do all in the past, you'll never move forward. And I was, obviously you're frustrated at the end of that race, but the team stuck together. Their attitude was awesome over the offseason. They worked so hard to become better. We used it as a positive and how to motivate ourselves to be a better team. And this whole speed weeks, every stop they had was spectacular. Each one was fast. We gained spots every time we came down pit road. I'm confident as a driver. I know I have the best team out there, whether that's the road crew or the pit crew. I know they're both the best team out there, and as long as we stay together as a team, we win and we lose as a team. That's what makes the strong team. It's people that live and die together. You just you do it, and it was really cool to see how they reacted over the offseason and use it as a positive.
Go ahead, press box. I think we got two more up there. Go ahead.
Brant James, USA Today Sports, for Joey. This sort of success has been expected of you for so long. It seems like you should be older. Does it feel like a long time? And did that sort of pressure and expectation on a teenager help or hurt you?
Did you call me old too?
No, I said it feels like you should be older.
Jeez. No, I get. What was this? My 7th 500, or I guess. I'm 24, which is it's cool because I've been through a lot in my career already, and I still have a long ways to go. Like we talked about a few minutes ago, and the success that we're starting to see is it's been a lot of fun. I'm so happy and thankful that I went through the times of trying to figure this out, and the tougher times of worrying about if you're going to have a job or not. Worrying about winning a race and then worrying about having a job is two different things. And when you get to the point that you can worry about winning races, that's where you want to be in your career. And but without going through those other points, it would never make me the person I am today on and off the racetrack. And I'm thankful for it to be here going through all that.
I believe we have one more in the press box. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Don Coble from the Florida Times-Union. This is for Roger. When you heard your driver and your crew chief talk about engine, didn't you actually get on the radio and say something?
Well, what I did, I realized that there were 13 Fords in the race, and 2 of them had a problem. So, our chances probably were pretty good that we'd be fine. And I said to Joe, I think just, keep focus out the window. There was nothing else to do. And I think Todd had said the same thing. I mean, he asked the question, what had happened. We knew, but there was no reason that was going to be a text that he needed to start the race. He needed to stay focused on the restarts, what he did. And, quite honestly, we've gotten great engines from Roush Yates, all last year. This is, right on the edge. In order to run with these guys, we got to be on the edge. And I think we obviously were today. But for me, I was just watching the race to see him get to the front and stay there, and the engine thing kind of went, was secondary once we got the restart.
I believe we have one more. Go ahead.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Roger, you've won the Indianapolis 500. You won the Daytona 500. It just seems like the only thing left to do is win the Brickyard 400. What would that win mean to you?
That would be something special. That has gotten away from us. We were close a couple of times, and I'm going to have a good talk with these guys about on my right and the ones that aren't here, how we can get that. That seems to be one. Jeff Gordon seems to have the combination there, but maybe when he retires, we'll have a chance. But that would be real special.
Okay, let's come downstairs now. I believe Jordan had a question, and then Jeremiah. Then we'll get to your others here shortly. Go ahead, Jordan, and then Jeremiah.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Joey, I'm going to call you young here.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of talk this offseason about a NASCAR youth movement, and it seems to be like Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott get a lot of that attention. You're 24. You're coming off a season when you won 5 races. You were in the championship hunt, obviously. Do you feel overlooked a little bit when people talk about the young drivers coming up in the sport and the new future?
I don't know about overlooked. I mean, the fact is I've been here a while. The advantage I have now is I'm basically the same age as them with 7 years of experience. So now you see the rewards from the hard work you put in earlier. So, I mean, yeah, some of the youth movement is, I feel like I'm still involved with it. I kind of, hope to kind of feel like the leader of it because I've been here before. I've kind of understand how the sport works a little bit and what I need to do. And, as a driver, you want to, take advantage of that and try to, build our sport bigger and better all the time. And how can we reach a younger demographic more? Because that's why I like Jeff Gordon when I was young, is because he was young, and how we can reach more kids and stuff like that. It's a role I want to take on as a driver because I know I want NASCAR as a sport to keep growing like it is, and it's like I said, it's kind of a role I want to be able to take on because I've been here for a while and I'm still a younger guy.
Right here, Jeremiah, and then we'll go to the gentleman back there in the back that's been so patient. Go ahead.
Jeremiah Davis, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Joey, you exclaimed on the radio, was the Daytona 500 is Daytona 500. Had you thought a lot about the historical impact of winning this race, what it would mean as a driver to win it?
There's a lot of cool things. There's a really cool trophy out there. They put everyone's name on it and everything. So that's a lot of history there. You look at some of the guys around it. It's neat to have your name associated with that. And I was in the Fox, the Hollywood studio over there, and before I went on air, they had a picture of our car doing a burnout, and it's underneath it, Joey Logano, Daytona 500 champion. I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool. So I took a picture of it because that was kind of neat. And there's a lot of really cool things that come along with this. I'm not even sure what they are yet, to be honest with you. But I know, all week long, you see a lot of the old race footage, and they're running that special on TV, and you see what it means to be in the Daytona 500. And it's an amazing feeling just to be in the race. I remember my first race here, and I saw my guy walked out on the pit road with my dad, and it about fell to tears because it was just an amazing feeling to be in the race. So winning it, you can only imagine. It's 10 times cooler than that because it is the biggest race of the year. You're racing against the best of the best in stock car racing. It's just it's really cool, to be associated with the names that have won this thing before.
Go ahead, back in the back.
Joey, Andy Nesbitt at the Buzzer on Fox, right here. I talked to you Friday night, and I asked you what the party would be like if you won the Daytona 500. Well, you won the Daytona 500. What's the party going to be like tonight, and can At the Buzzer on Fox crew be invited?
I don't know if we should have media there, but sure, what the heck, come on.
We're not real.
I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't know how to party. So I'm sure there's somebody on my team knows how. And it's funny because for a while when I first started racing, I was in 21, so milk and cookies was my party. And now I'm old enough at least, and I don't know. Usually Brittany and I just have a glass of wine and we sit down and rewatch the race. I'm sure we'll. I think all my guys are staying here. The pit crew and road crew, they're all staying here, right, Todd?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna do something. I think they're more experienced in the partying side of it, so we'll figure it out as the night goes.
If you need any help, we are here to help you.
It seems like you know how to do it.
We're at the Hilton. Come on down. We'll have fun.
All right, let's go to we'll go to Tom Bowles right here at Lewis, and then Jay. Tom Bowles, Lewis, and Jay.
Thank you. Tom Bowles, front stretch and athlon. Joey, congratulations. Down the stretch, you were really the only Ford in contention with your teammates out. And I just wondered how you go about, in that situation, picking people to work with down the stretch. And with Denny and Kevin there, people you've had run-ins in the past in contention, did that enter your head the last couple of laps at all?
I mean, obviously, think about it. But, you know, I want to say it's been long enough that we moved on and we can race with each other, and we did. Obviously, I chose the 15 as a teammate, kind of in a way, today as someone to work with, because for some reason sometimes you get two cars that match up really well. Sometimes you get two drivers that are kind of have the same agenda and the same level of aggression and being able to force situations. And he matched up with me today. You know, just for some reason we started pushing, and I was like, I want this guy behind me the rest of the race. So anytime I can figure out how to get Clint behind me to push me, we are able to pass cars. You know, we restarted their 10th with, what was it, 20 to go or so? Yeah. 20-ish to go, and you know, together we kind of worked our way up there, and, you know, 3 wide for the lead for a little bit, and then he gave me a couple big old shoves to get up into the front of that thing. And you know, we saw a lot today that when you get out front and you get clear of the pack, you're able to kind of work each line and you know, do what you can to try to stay up there. And it took a lot. It took a big run for someone to pass for the lead, and you know, so getting there was very important. You know, and then you just beyond that point, you're just, like I said, you're in the mirror. But having the right guy to push you up there was key.
We'll go to Lewis, Jay, and then back in the back, Doug.
Yeah, Louis Frank of Reuters. It touched on this subject, but could you sum up your range of emotions from being let go by Gibbs to today winning the Daytona 500?
Well, my dad's phone's ringing over here. Just figured I'd call you out. You know, some of the emotions you go through when you start to think, you know, man, am I going to have a job next year? You know, and that's kind of hard as a race car driver, saying, man, especially for me, I poured all my eggs in one basket. I was really banking on this one, and you know, you come to that point, it's like, oh, this is going to be you know, scary, and then you don't know what's going to happen. And that win in Pocono for me was one of the biggest wins in my career, because I didn't know what was going to happen next, but just to prove that to yourself that you can still win one of these things, and that was a special race for me. And you know, and then who would ever guess 3 years down the road we'd be sitting here saying we're Daytona 500 champions? Like, that's just, it's crazy. Life is a roller coaster, and like I said, you just got to roll with the punches, and it all comes out good at the end as long as you just trust in God, and you'll be there.
Let's go to Jay, and then back in the back, Doug. Jay?
Jay Pennell of Fox Sports. You mentioned the cool ring that you got. Given your
Which one?
Given your
I got two cool ones.
Yeah, given your track record with rings, what are you going to do with that one?
I better not lose. I hope I don't lose this one. This one's harder to replace, I think. Well, I take that back. I screwed up there. Hang on. Well,
insert
hold
foot
on.
here.
Hang on. Well, what I meant to say. Well, she's still here with me. It's just a symbol. She's with me all the time, no matter what. She would be impossible to replace.
There you go.
That's how you redeem yourself. I'm going to stop. I feel like I came out neutral on that one. So,
Yeah.
no, overall, no, the ring is super cool. And, you know, I'll make sure I put it next to the bed when I go to sleep tonight, along with the trophy and Brittany.
Let's go back in the back, far left corner, Doug.
Thanks, Gary. Doug Turnbull from WSB Radio in Atlanta.
Aside from that's much less interesting than the party question or the ring question, but no, with all the talk about handling that's gone on, were you able, or any of the other drivers that you know of, able to make use of the in-car track bar adjustment during this race, or was that not even an option?
It's not an option on super speedways. There's no, they take that out of the car. It's not an option. So next week will be the first time we get to use the track bar adjuster. So we'll see how that goes. We haven't tested the new package as a team. The 22 team hasn't. So we're not really sure what it's going to do yet. But handling did come into play a lot today. That was definitely a big story to me. Is I was surprised how much we started lifting in the corners. It kind of felt like the old Daytona before they repaved it, and you got to start lifting a little bit. The car is getting tight, and you're starting to ask for adjustments. You're asking for grip in your car, and it's something that we haven't said here in Daytona for a little bit. So it's starting to come back to old Daytona, which is cool. I think it still puts on a great race. It's a lot of fun, and at the end, it's amazing because you see throughout the race how a lot of cars weren't handling very well, and at the end we're 3 wide and we're all still wide open. Like, how do you find this gear to be able to do this? Because it wasn't working earlier in the race, and why would it work at the end? And it's just amazing how everyone finds that next level at the end of a race.
Okay, let's go to Bob. Did you have a question? I believe Bob did, and then we need to get going to get them to some other commitments. We'll finish with this gentleman right over here.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. The guys who were second, third, fourth didn't think they had much for you, even if the caution had not come out. Were you fairly certain by the time the caution came out that you would hold them off?
I wasn't very certain at all. I've never won a speedway like this big pack group racing before, so I wasn't certain about anything because, like I said earlier, this isn't really my specialty before, and never winning one of these before, you're never really sure what's going to happen. So, and I don't think anyone is certain of what's going to happen. I don't care how many of these you won, you're probably never certain that you're going to win one of these things. So, you just you do what you know how to do, and try to make the best of that situation. And it was cool to be able to hold those guys back there, but it took a lot of teamwork to be able to do it.
Final question right here.
Brad Freilich with WIFF TV in Greenville, South Carolina. Todd, this question's for you. Can you talk about your relationship with Joey and how you've built that relationship, and then what winning a Daytona 500 means to you personally?
Yeah, it's when Joey came on board, it's funny. It's now we're in our third year together, but there were a lot of similarities in how we looked at how we raced and how we talked, how our personalities were, how we wanted to handle people, how we wanted our race team to be. I think that's a lot of what, we've got people, this whole Shell Pennzoil race team is there's a lot of continuity. They're guys that like to hang out together. They're the guys that, when we don't have any, there's no separation in our group. I think that comes from Joey and myself and everybody here. It's a group that kind of gets together. So, yeah, I'm a lot older than he is because I'm an old guy. But but we have some similar thoughts and similar, I think, similar focuses. And he's a genuinely good person, which I think that everybody kind of migrates towards that. So it's been great, and relationship is something where we trust each other with everything. It's today was a perfect example of. I'm too tight, and I call for 2 tires, and there was no hesitation or anything in Joey's mind, but he understood that track position was where we had to maintain, and we had to keep ourselves where we were fighting for things. So there's good belief in each other. I don't ever question what he does, and he very rarely. I've never heard him question me. So
I don't question you, man. I just go with it. You're smarter than me.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, Todd, and Roger, congratulations on winning the 57th annual Daytona 500. Great accomplishment, and Joey, enjoy it.
Thank you. Hey, there's one more cool story I think we overlooked. Ford won the Rolex 24, the truck race, the Xfinity race, and the Cup race. So I think that's a pretty big deal for those guys. So they deserve a high five or something.
Excellent. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Maybe a Coca-Cola.
I get to talk to you.
Yes, you do.